Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Hello everyone, this is Chrism, and I'd like to continue our conversation about the Kundalini Emergency, also known as the spiritual emergency. In regards to Kundalini protocols for having some behavioral form of coming into balance with the Kundalini, I'm going to suggest some locks. These are derived from various cultures from all over the world who practice and encourage the Kundalini awakening, much different than the Western societies. And so these locks come from their experiences with the Kundalini. And one of the first things that I'm going to suggest is to place the tip of the tongue behind the upper front teeth. You'll feel a fleshy mound right behind the upper front teeth, and go ahead and place the tip of the tongue there naturally. And you also may feel that your tongue goes there anyway. And this goes back to my statement of the body knowing what to do with Kundalini, that it is wired to have Kundalini and to know just the same way it knows how to deal with adolescence. The body knows how to deal with Kundalini as well. There are actual protocols within the genetic expression of the human being that allow the Kundalini to come and to reach its fruition within the individual because of the genetic understanding that the body has about the Kundalini. So one of the first protocols that will enhance and come into harmony with the Kundalini is that tip of the tongue behind the upper front teeth. Right there. So go ahead and practice that, and counsel your loved one to practice that as well. If a person is seeing their arms disappear or other objects or parts of their body disappear, the tip of the tongue behind the upper front teeth is one of the sure ways to bring their body right back into phase. That's what happens, is their body is going out of visual phase for them all. When you connect that master switch, tip of the tongue behind the upper front teeth, well, the energy is allowed to flow in a more direct pattern, and the body parts will typically come back into view. This can be very scary for people, as you can imagine, seeing their arm disappear, their leg disappear, their foot or whatever body part disappear. So once again, the tongue tip behind the upper front teeth. Another position I want to encourage is this position. Okay, forefinger tip to the thumb tip, with the other three fingers spread apart. Now I know other spiritual systems use it this way, and that's fine if that works. That's fine. But for thumb tip to finger tip, I find that it is far better to have the other three fingers spread apart. And this is for both hands. So in the Sanskrit terminology, this is called the Gyan Mudra, and you can look that up on the web. Gyan Mudra, G-Y-A-N, and then Mudra is spelled M-U-D-R-A. Okay? So look that up. The other position that I'm going to recommend is that when a person is sitting in meditation, and a person may want to do that, they may be compelled to sit into various forms of meditation. But when that is occurring, I'm going to suggest that they sit at the edge of a chair or in the seated cross-legged position, and that they bring their chin slightly down. What this does is this stretches the spine, gives the spine a nice stretch. And now you don't need to look all the way down like that. Don't go all the way to an extreme position, but just slightly down. This is where you hear a lot of the jokes about yogis and people navel gazing. Okay, well, there's a real reason why a person would want to do this, and that is inside the Kundalini, this allows for a less constricted spinal column. And the slightly stretched spinal column is very conducive to allowing the energy to flow into the muscles, into the nerves, into the sympathetic nervous system in a much better way, more balanced, more harmonious way. The other thing I want to suggest for people is to put the eyes up and in. And once again, this is done when they start to meditate. So the eyes are typically staring right here. So you can see how it would be up and slightly in. That's what, and typically you want the eyes closed. When people do it, they want the eyes closed. This will develop, this allows the energy to come up in a more unrestricted fashion. We're a very visual society, and where we place our gaze is pretty much how we interpret our world. Well, with the eyes up and in, we're placing our gaze up at the blossoming crown, the destination of the Kundalini energy, and it allows and accentuates this flow to come up and out. Very balanced, very harmonious. So once again, just these positions alone are very, very, very helpful to the Kundalini awakening person, and very helpful to the loved ones around that Kundalini awakening person. It gives physical-based recourse to a largely non-physical based experience, especially for those not having it. For the person having it, it's extremely physical and emotional and psychological and mental and spiritual. But for those not having it, it's just their loved one having a very difficult time and that they don't understand. And so these locks give a person a way to respond on a physical level that will affect every other expressive level of consciousness. Thanks for watching.